where we all came from. The dreams we had, the love we shared. This is what we're waiting for. And in my mind, in my head, this is where we all came from. The dreams we had, the love we shared. This is what we're waiting for. In my mind, in my head, this is where we all come. In my mind, in my head, this is where we all come. In my mind, in my head, this is where we all came from. The dreams we had, the love we shared. This is what we're waiting for.
What is going on, YouTube? It's Brendan from Market Makers. Guys, we have President Biden and Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, meeting at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time to discuss the debt ceiling debacle. This video, we're going to look at what trades are setting up, what resistance levels we are at right now. If anything is able to be traded in this environment, this is a very binary environment. If they come out with some type of deal today, tomorrow, the next day, you're going to see potentially some type of rally. We need to look at the targets or where those rallies could be. We're going to look at some of the mega cap tech stocks because some of them are at key levels. And of course, if they don't come out with a deal, this is really the last week, as we've been talking about on this channel. Congress is off next week, so they have to have some type of framework for some type of deal really by Friday, or you're going to see something we haven't seen since 2011, which is the market selling off hardcore. It fell 18% last time. They got a deal done 2 days before the deadline, and the market is pricing in zero risk, zero possibility of that happening. And on top of that, you have yields rising. You have the DXY coming up off a double bottom. Looking at this, it's resting right now on 103.249. Looking at the 618, 103.917, and of course the symmetrical move 105.851, which is where I think you're going to go once you get this impulse up here. The market doesn't seem to have any cares in the world at all. Looking at the VIX is at 16.89. Remember, this moves inversely to the S&P. And if you look at where the trend line here is from the all-time high on the S&P, it was 16.34. So this is complacency at its worst. The market's expecting a deal to get done, and it wants an excuse to rally. And could it rally, guys? Could it hit some targets? Yeah, absolutely. We're going to look at upside potential, but there's some critical support levels, especially here on Bitcoin on my screen. So let's look at Bitcoin, guys, on the weekly time frame. 45 angle. Look at this baby tiny weekly candle, 26,856. The continuous rollover here after our ABC correction. We're holding this line. You need to hold this line. If this deal doesn't get done and the market wants to repeat 2011 and start dumping 20%, remember Bitcoin moves at a 2.5 beta to the marketplace. So we're going to look at this on the daily as well. But my next pull down target, which I have in June with the equity markets, right? We were targeting mid-June. The next pull down target for Bitcoin for me is 13K Bitcoin. And that's just a short drop to here. Okay. So let's look at this on the daily, get some more information. Guys, if you want to trade these markets with us, I want you to check out our Discord because it is free for your first month if you try out SimpleFX or BingX. BingX is traditional crypto bro exchange, but no VPN is needed on BingX. SimpleFX is a decentralized exchange where you can trade equities, commodities, forex, and a handful of cryptos as well. On SimpleFX, you do get up to a $5,000 instant bonus available in your margin. Most importantly, both of them will pay for your first month at Market Makers on our Discord with 13,000 people, live streams, trade signals, fantastic community. You guys would love it. Take advantage of it. Check it out. Message Lee and the Telegram after you download one of those two. It's pinned in the YouTube comments and it's in the video description. All right, guys, let's look at Bitcoin on the daily. So let's just look at some quick targets here. If we just do a simple fib retracement from where price is now, let's go ahead and move this over and move this up. You can see Bitcoin hit the 618 at 26,507, wick through it, bounced back up a little bit, right? So you have Bitcoin at 26,856 right now. And again, we've been over this many times on the channel, but you had your high, your lower high, and now your subsequent lower high, and you're just falling down with double tops. You see this? You just keep printing double tops. This is people selling, smart money selling, dumb money buying, smart money selling again, and brings it down another level. You're at a critical level here in this range, as you can see. Our Wyckoff range is beneath us, but let's go ahead and look at this from a larger fib retracement perspective as well. Let's take this from the impulse, this impulse up all the way to that local high, okay? It's your 200 down there. Let's just look at this. You fell right to the 382 at 26,653. You see that? Look where you have your 618, 24K. Most importantly, guys, remember, again, if the market cycle repeats itself, if there's no deal that gets done, the economy overall is in decay. So this is going to happen anyways. We're talking about catalysts in the market. And right now, the debt ceiling debacle is the biggest catalyst in the market. And at some point when the market wakes up, they're going to de-risk. And the Minsky moment principle is real. It happens very quickly. Markets fall 5 to 7 times faster statistically than they rise. So you'll see big selling at some point if no deal is done. I think that could happen Thursday or Friday this week, okay? But look at your 1618. 12,459 off the impulse move here on the fib retracement. What did I say on the weekly time frame? Again, 12,000, 13,000 Bitcoin aligns you up beautifully here, guys, at 12,759. So what would the upside targets be? Well, that's more interesting because you'd have to come back up. Let's say a deal gets done tomorrow. Well, the NASDAQ looks pretty capped out. It could still rally. Everything can do what it wants to do, okay? There's no hard rule saying the S&P cannot get above 4289. That's just not going to happen. It can do what it wants to do. We're looking at TA and probabilities, as all trades are, is trading on probabilities, okay? So if we want to look at this, let's go ahead and zoom this out to like a 3-day chart, get a bigger picture here of where Bitcoin is. 3-day chart, there's your 200 above you. You can look at this a couple of different ways. We could do fib retracements from higher up. We can use wave projections. I'm going to use a wave here. See what we got. You hit the 1272 beautifully at 30,962. Look at that. See your wick? So if you can flip this, if they get out of budget deal, the market wants to rally, then you could be potentially, looking at 34,064 as your 1618 target, because the 618 was the ceiling to your Wyckoff range. You see that? You flipped it. You got up. You failed at the 1272, fell back down to the 786 at 26,604. Look how prices are sitting there. If you were to impulse back up, you got to defeat 1272. But if you were, then you could be looking at 34K Bitcoin. It's an ask. I mean, it's a big ask, guys. That's a big move. Let's just get that percentage move from where price is now. That's a 25%, 26% move. You would definitely need confluence with the equities markets for that to happen. Conversely, again, if Bitcoin fell to our target of 12, 13K, let's get that fib retracement one more time of this move. Oh, wrong one. Fib retracement. Here we go. Fib retracement of the move. Let's go down to the 1618, 12,459. And we got the drop from here down to there. There's your 54% drop. So again, downside risk is much greater than upside risk. Doesn't mean you can't rally up, but it also can mean you can just simply fail. You made multiple double tops here on the daily time frame. This is a 3-day chart. You made this larger double top. If you were to rally back up again, back to the same place you failed at 30,962, maybe the 200 rejects you as well in the 3-day chart, then you've just made an even larger double top is all you've just printed. Remember, price likes to move in these double top type formations. So it's something to consider, but we'd have to see how the market reacts to any type of good news, any type of rally. Let's switch over to the S&P 500, guys. We've been talking about this upside risk. This number is nothing new to anybody that's been watching this channel. The reason we have this laid out this way is because of all the fantastic trades that we've been getting off of the pattern. My pivot pattern was April 14th. We had a couple 100 handle plus drops here, not like before. Okay, so this isn't the big drop like our last big drop of 9% that we traded and gave you this trade as well, right? But we've had a couple of good drops here. All the pivots have lined up beautifully with key market tops and drops. But looking at the upside risk, this is this 4,200 range. This 4,200 range down here at the 1 fib, 4203, the way this is fib is laid out, it's provided your tops, okay? Outside of this one flyer right here, which got up to 43.11, it's provided your tops. And look where price is right now. Let me zoom in some. It's right up thrusting at that 42.03. You have the 45 angle using as support. And look, this is a bullish position here based on Wyckoff to get to this target of 42.96. Let's just call it 4,300. If you want to get to that target, it's a bullish position to do it. Now you can see it better. Here's your Wyckoff range. That's your target up here, 4,300. You could do it. You can also break down very easily. And if you break down, I would anticipate coming back down to your lows. Okay. Again, my target's 31.41, but this would happen in steps and it would happen quickly. Markets fall quickly. When they fall, there's panic selling that will occur. So we need to see what happens. This is an external catalyst. None of us have any insight into. You have two political leaders trying to meet and discuss trillions upon trillions of dollars. Who wants to blink first? People are asking me my opinion about how this will play out. Biden has more to lose. He's the president. We've been talking about this before in the Discord as well. Biden's the president. Most people around the world have never heard of Speaker McCarthy. Most Americans, I would say 80%, don't know who he is. Okay, we still have a lot of people that think Trump's president or Obama's president. You guys probably seen those videos on YouTube where they do interviews on the street. Most people in general have no idea what's going on. But in history, you will remember the president that was the first president of an actual default of the country. And guys, a default, just to be clear, if that actually happened, we didn't default last time. We got a deal done 2 days ahead of time, and the market still sold off 18% and didn't recover until the following year. Our credit got downgraded. A default would be cataclysmic if it happened, okay? That's the whole we're the reserve currency, be cataclysmic. You would be sweeping these lows, in my opinion, because the market's being held up by a dozen stocks. It's being held up by big cap, mega cap tech stocks. That's all that's holding the market up. You see it in the breadth. You see it in all the measurements we talk about. So if you actually default, it is a huge external catalyst for a parabolic decline. And that decline, again, I would have us at 31.41, but I go up or down 150 points, 3,000 to 3,300. Your previous low from October was roughly 3,500. Okay, so you'd be sweeping your low. But this actual positioning, to be fair, okay, this actual positioning, which is why I'm sharing this upside target with you, this is a bullish positioning if you can hold up here, trying to up thrust, hold the 45 and propel up. That's what you're trying to do here. Doesn't mean you will, but that's what you're trying to do on the top range of your Wyckoff, okay? And again, you did this last August and it failed. And this is exact same movement I would expect to happen. If you get up to 4,300, awesome time to short. Boom, it's going to come right back down. It will not hold, I do not believe. This isn't a bull run, guys. You don't have a bull run heading into a recession. You don't have a bull run with the leading economic indicators at the pandemic lows. You don't have a bull run with 5% inflation and 5% interest rates in the country. There's too many negative macro factors. The main bullish case we went over at last video is price action. Price action's bullish. If you trade it long here, you made money. If you trade it short here, you made money. These are choppy traders markets right now. These are not investor markets, in my opinion. So we have a target of 4,300. If you hit it and it holds, opportune time to potentially put on an excellent trade. If it starts to fail here because the news gets bad, I'm expecting this thing to really come down. Let's just do a fib retracement off this move, right? Had this nice move up. Let's go to that high. Look where the price fell to here. You're 3-2, 40.59. So you lose 40.59. You have to watch 4,000. Just below it is a 618 at 39.63. Look where the 1 fib lines you up beautifully if you're Wyckoff bottom, 3,800. So 3,800 is supreme danger zone. Obviously, you're in danger zone as you decline, but 3,800 is exiting Wyckoff. And then you're looking for what? You're looking for your back test. You come back up, retest 3,800, you fail, and break out to the downside. And there's your 1 1618 at 35.54, which puts you right back in that bottom range, okay? This is just off a simple fib retracement. I do believe it would be going down lower. Sweeping that low is my premise. So let's go ahead and look at the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ, guys, this has been parabolic here on the NASDAQ. You have a lot of money rotating out of what it was. Energy was the big performer, big winner last year. Lots of people were mispositioned. The AI super bubble, which I know some people don't agree with me, it is a bubble in the sense of valuations of these companies like NVIDIA, which you're going to find out on May 25th, by the way, if NVIDIA is worth a 159 trailing 12-month PE, and I think a forward PE now of like 63 or 65. That's double what Microsoft's trading at, okay? So we'll see what happens here, but you can see your Wyckoff ranges very clearly here, right? This is the NASDAQ. There's your August high. Then remember, Bitcoin and everything tracks with this. Bitcoin and the NASDAQ and the Russell 2000 all topped back in November of 21, within 48 hours of the Russell 2000. So you see the NASDAQ hitting a very key 100% move of this fib here, the trend-based fib, 38.94, and that's where it's struggling right now. Now, could it impulse up and flip this and go up? It could. I don't think the upside's that much greater because you're not going to see a major divergence of the S&P potentially crashing down and the NASDAQ continuing to rise. You can see the NASDAQ outperform, but in general, when the broader market pulls down, it's heavy selling pressure. Okay, remember these companies are represented in the S&P as well. So talking about the mega cap tech guys, your Apples and Googles and Amazons. So looking at this chart, guys, this is classic Wyckoff again, flipping your resistance, moving up. Right now, 13,894. I got a short in here of the blended average of 13.5. I'm not happy about that at all. It pumped literally a couple hours later up to this new range. My stop is just up here, 14.1. I believe 14,125, something like that. So if this comes up with any type of force at all, I'll just be stopped out. This was a like half position size trade for me because the NASDAQ was moving up. Okay. So this trade, we'll see if this trade plays out. If it does come up here and have some volatility and I get stopped out, I have no problem re-entering again. You cannot win every single trade. All of you that trade know that. But right now I'm still in this trade. People are asking me in the comments, are you going to add to the trade? Should I move my stop loss up? Those are all decisions everybody else needs to make for themselves. I use my stop loss based off ATR in the daily time frame. We have a free ATR indicator we give everybody. It's custom programmed for our room when they join, but other people use fibs for stop losses, percentages for stop losses. My 3 ATRs said I should be up there at 14.1, and that's where my stop loss is, and we've been flirting with that range. We're at 13,875 right now, okay? But again, the NASDAQ sweeping its low, guys. If this talks go bad, even if you get a deal done, but the market perceives that it's too late in the process and starts selling off, when you're looking at the NASDAQ, if it sweeps its low, coming down over 25%. And again, if Bitcoin's moving at a 2.5 beta, well, I mean, that's Bitcoin dropping that 50+% that we just talked about. Let's get a fib retracement from the impulse. We'll do this two different ways. We'll do it from the shallower impulse up here, because you had a deep correction up to here. And there's your 1618 at 10,295. Right? 10,295. Now, I think on my weekly chart or 3-day chart, I had 9,700 or 9,500. So this is close. 1618 here. Let's try this from the deeper level here of this impulsive move up before you actually start moving up. And that 1618 is way down there, 8,677. So most likely, this is a more realistic target. Again, if everything plays out like it should, okay? If everything plays out and we have the debate take too long and the market gets spooked, yields keep rising, dollar keeps gaining in strength, if mega cap tech is pretty much pumped out, you're going to see retracement, you're going to see selling, and I think you'll see massive panic selling. If they come out with a deal announcement tonight, then yeah, you could see this move up. You could see the NASDAQ flip up here and come up to a different level of resistance, and I'll be stopped out of my trade and looking for something else to trade. And that may end up being NVIDIA, but we'll get to that in a second. Let's look at the XAG. This is silver. So far, silver and gold are doing exactly what I thought they would do, which is why we shorted it up here at the $26 area. This was a fantastic trade, guys, 13.5% drop or so. This is posted in our Discord. We talked about it here in the channel as well, 11% drop. So this was a great trade, and you're below your 2-year trend line. You see that? So here's the if the debt ceiling, people are asking me if this can pop back up, right? And it can. Again, price can do whatever it wants, but specifically if the debt ceiling, if that debate goes awry, and Kevin McCarthy comes out tonight, Biden comes out tonight and says the Republicans are a bunch of terrorists trying to keep the American people hostage, and McCarthy says Biden won't budge at all on any single budget cut. Well, you could see metals move back up because it's a fear trade, okay? But in general, when and if the market does turn down, which I still believe it's going to, regardless of what we rally, all these rallies, if they come from any news about the debt ceiling, they're rallies to fade. They're going to give you targets to fade. But when and if we do get that news that the debt ceiling is becoming very, very difficult to imagine any type of deal getting done, you could see silver and gold come back up as a fear trade. I told you I'm still looking for a larger structure double top, okay? Then you want to see how this handles the resistance, because again, once this market falls apart, I think the gold and silver trade coming soon is going to be substantially lower when the markets roll down, and you're going to see that $12 to $14 silver, and then you'll see a parabolic recovery because people will not be happy with inflation in the economy. People will not be happy if the recession in the economy, and just like the great financial crisis, you'll see these rise back up. Same with gold, guys. I mean, this was, we talked about it for weeks ad nauseum, but getting above that 2055, I got in at 2058, got an awesome drop to 1951, over $100 drop in gold, and now it's just barely bouncing back up, testing the base of that Wyckoff at 1981. But if the talks go awry, watch for gold to potentially make some type of double top structure, and it's a potential re-entry point into a trade, because I do think gold will come down as well. And if you retest your lows, which is 1654 roughly on fibs, that's when we look at our 1521 and 1389 targets before gold comes back down. And this pump up right here can easily be because of the talks. Let's look at First Solar. Again, fantastic trade, almost 14% on the drop. Lots of people holding on to this trade. I should have held on to this trade. I got out a little bit higher up, but I wanted that profit to be able to take some other trades, because it looks like it's trying to base here to me. You see this? It's trying to base, won't matter. This is an overvalued company. I wouldn't do anything here with it, guys. If you got any type of rally, you can look at your previous resistance, maybe 217, but I wouldn't add to anything here because it's trying to hold a base in the daily time frame, and it's too easy to move back up. Or if it starts falling down, and once it starts losing this 171, because I have this coming all the way back down to $60, right? Your first stop down here on a next major pull down could easily be 123 once it pumped from last time. This company missed profits, missed EPS by substantial amounts. Again, this is a company that has a trailing 12 months PE of over 400. So this is not a company that has a lot of value. It has a lot of meme value. But let's look at NVDA, because this is actually setting up for a trade. Now, this is textbook Wyckoff ping-ponging around here. Again, we went over it last video, but took a trade in here at 291. Got down here to 272. It was a nice profitable trade before it pumped back up. And now we're back here at a new level. You're at the 2618. Let's zoom out on this, okay? Let's zoom out on this. Doesn't this look like the Bitcoin chart on its way to its all-time high, its second all-time high? Here's the thing. We hit the 2618 at 316.86. You see that? Look how clearly that was respected off of this Gartley pattern as described by Harold Gartley, who invented the pattern, right? The double bottom structure. And then when you hit this fib up here, the 2618, clearly parabolic rise. This stock is up a lot off of its October low, which was roughly $100. You're up almost 200%, 194%. That's your all-time high over here at 346. So this could present as a great trade. The problem is they report on the 25th, okay? So you could get some more upside euphoria to, I don't know, 316, or this at 316 here. It could go to 320, 321, and then come down. Or those numbers could not represent at all what this massive pump represents in an instant sell-off, okay? And then you have the broader market question with what's happening with the debt ceiling debate. So this is tricky, but if I was going to trade in this area, this is the area I like, 316.86 and above, okay? Because you're very close to your retracement here is, well, if you just did a simple retracement, just a fib retracement from your all-time high to your low, probably at the 886. Yeah, look at that. Your 886 is right on top of your 2618. So that's 318.94. So this is a high probability area. Having said that, if NVIDIA has good numbers, even though it will not accurately reflect what they're trading at, you could get a euphoric pop-up, okay? So this is a very binary move, but this level here looks like a great level. This stock has ran up a lot. It is expensive right now. Looking at this on the 3-day chart, look at the massive bearish divergence on the 3-day chart. So you peaked out on money flow. This is a volume weighted RSI. You see that? Look at that divergence. You peaked out on money flow here, right? So down here in this cluster, money started leaving the market or leaving the stock, and the stock went on to do this. And you can see this as well on the weekly time frame. Let's look at the weekly real quick. So when you zoom out, look at this. So money flow up here, exact same. Right in this cluster, this whole pump up is divergent from your money flow, but you can see the volume ratio of people buying. More people are buying than selling. That's fewer people paying higher prices is what's moving your stock up, okay? So you have fewer parties paying higher prices because the actual net aggregate is people selling here, or not as much money coming into the market or people holding. So that 2618 at 316.86, guys, that looks like a really good range. Be aware of their earnings. You could see a run up prior to their earnings and watch the macro market. But I like that area for a potential trade. I'm watching it very closely. Looking at MSTR, MicroStrategy, another great trade. This gave us a 23% drop from this high. MicroStrategy also rebounding. Again, this is a great learning point, right? Great teachable moment. We talked about this last couple of videos. People are asking me, hey, should I short it here? And I said, I wouldn't trade unless it came down, retested your ceiling of your ceiling here of your Wyckoff resistance at 273 and failed. Then you can trade. Or if it comes back up to retest this range, get some up thrusts and fail, then you can trade. Trade at extremes. This is exactly why I wouldn't have added to this trade at 280, 290, because now it's at 295, right? And this could realistically just roll up and come down, make a series of lower highs. But there's no point in being stuck when you don't have to be stuck. Trade at extremes, don't trade in the chop. So nothing of interest here to me. Let's throw a quick fib retracement on this just to see where this is coming from. And we'll just grab this high here, see where you're at. Yeah, just pumping towards 298. 307 should be some strong resistance. 318 as you get back and towards this cluster of candles, but nothing to do there, guys. Tesla, great trade as well. Almost a 27% move from the trade that I shared here on YouTube and on our Discord, and Tesla pulling a reversal as well. So nothing changes for me here on Tesla. I would still look at that 208 to 220. It's at 188 if for some reason Tesla kept coming up to that level, because just like MSTR, you didn't fall below 161 and break to the downside, okay? So you're having a reversal move back to the upside. Let's just throw a fib and see where this is as well. I'm going to take it from this impulse move here. Pumping past this 618 at 186. So you have 195 and 201. Those are areas of interest, but again, I trade at extremes. So if this doesn't ever get back up to 208, I don't care. If it falls below 161, since this is a great profitable trade, then I could look to trade it to the downside. But in this in between, you're just guessing with the fibs. Let's look at Google. Can Google keep pumping? Because it's mega cap tech holding up the market. If you look at the trend-based fib, that's how I laid it out here, guys. Look exactly where you pump to, the 126 at the 1618, the golden ratio. You see that? That's where you're getting resistance. Now, again, could you pump higher? Yeah, price can do whatever it wants. Do I anticipate that happening? No, I think this is going to hold. You could pump up a little bit if you get a catalyst from the debt ceiling talks going in a positive direction, but this is where it naturally wants to hold. So we'll see if this holds up, and I would wait and see what happens with the debt ceiling. Let's look at the DAX. People are asking me about it. We got past my 16.2, and DAX, we've been day trading this in and out as well as you can do, and this pumped up, of course, but look where it got to, the 1618. Okay, and this is where it's holding. This, again, the European markets are holding, waiting to see what happens with the American markets. And overall, this pumped out of its Wyckoff trading range. Okay, it's exact textbook Wyckoff once again. So there's your ceiling. Here's your base. And look what you did. You want up thrust, down thrust, got some chopping here. You made a higher low right here, and then you had a pump back up. You're getting resistance at the 1618. I anticipated staying here. Could have a little bit more upside as well if we get bullish news about the debt ceiling. And obviously, this has a lot to give up if we get bad news or as time degrades, time goes by. That's the thing, guys. Time passing is a negative catalyst because the deal has to get done sooner than later. The June 1st deadline, this is the last full week before that deadline. So time passing is a negative catalyst. Let's look at the CAC. This was a fantastic trade. We nailed the top on this trade. Nice 4% drop in the what am I thinking of? In the index here, this is the area I told you I'd be interested in re-adding. Remember 7,500, 7,535, you almost got up there and you're holding kind of in this range. You may get a roll up to that area. And this is why I was interested because I was looking at the 786 for a possible retracement for a very large double top. So I'm watching that 75.35 area here on the CAC. And again, all of these upside targets, guys, can be hit with that debt ceiling talk. Okay. So be aware of that. You want pumps to hit resistance and falter. I don't just trade on a naked pump up. Let's go ahead and look at what else we got here. I think that's all I really want to cover because we are almost 30 minutes in. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Obviously, if something major happens tonight with the debt ceiling talk and we have some massive movements in the market tomorrow, I'll put out like an emergency video tomorrow. If not, look for our video as per usual on Thursday. Hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. Come join us on our Discord. Check out our sponsors. Take care, everybody. Have a good evening.